Gilligan's Island might seem like cheerful fun, but behind the silly jokes and coconut inventions lurked hidden truths. Casting disputes, lost deals, and hush-hush production headaches all played a part in its story. Let's discuss 17 cover-ups they never wanted you to learn. Jerry Van Dyke missed the boat. Many fans remember Bob Denver as Gilligan, yet Jerry Van Dyke was first approached for the role in 1964. Producers believed his offbeat humor was perfect for a bumbling castaway. However, Jerry criticized the pilot script as the worst he ever read, convinced the idea wouldn't succeed. Eager to star in his own show, he turned it down and soon landed My Mother the Car, a short-lived comedy quickly canceled. That decision opened the door for Bob Denver, who brought a warm, clumsy charm to Gilligan that audiences embraced. The network, undeterred by Van Dyke's rejection, quickly offered Denver the part. His earlier run as Maynard G. Krebs on The Many Loves of Dobby Gills showcased his knack for goofy, memorable antics. It turned out to be the right call for Gilligan's Island. Can you believe a simple rejection changed TV history? Stay with us for more behind-the-scenes twists. Carroll O'Connor's almost skipper role. Before Alan Hale Jr. became the loud, lovable skipper, Carroll O'Connor auditioned. At the time, O'Connor was still seeking that big break. Sherwood Schwartz, the show's creator, considered him, but felt O'Connor's vibe didn't match the mix of slapstick and friendliness required. Soon after, O'Connor soared to fame as Archie Bunker in All in the Family. Alan Hale Jr. came from a Western background, often playing strong, capable figures. For Gilligan's Island, he added a genial twist, transforming the skipper into someone both tough and caring. Throughout filming, his off-camera kindness mirrored his on-screen warmth, helping the cast unite. Co-stars often recalled how Hale treated Bob Denver like a true little buddy, strengthening their comedic routines. Had O'Connor landed the role, we might never have seen Archie Bunker, nor Skipper's uproarious exasperation with Gilligan. That single audition marked a fork in the road for two iconic television careers. Gunsmoke sank the show. Gunsmoke is the reason Gilligan's Island disappeared. During season 3, CBS apparently assured Sherwood Schwartz that a fourth season was secure. Certain actors even purchased homes near the studio, expecting long-term work. But a sudden network shuffle bumped Gilligan's Island to make space for more Gunsmoke episodes. The cast learned of the cancellation the same way viewers did: public statements. There was no big farewell or final wrap-up for the castaways. This abrupt ending became notorious in TV history, sparking frustration among fans who never saw the characters rescued in a proper finale. It also taught other productions that networks can't pivot without warning. Natalie Schafer's hidden age. Natalie Schafer, who played Mrs. Howell, initially treated Gilligan's Island as a free Hawaiian excursion. She assumed the project would never become a long-running series. Beloved for her dainty manner and haughty lines, Schafer kept one huge secret: her real age. Documents later showed she was born in 1900, making her well into her 60s when she portrayed the seemingly middle-aged woman. Cast and crew had no clue. She maintained her glamour and comedic poise with ease. Even Dawn Wells, who played Marianne, only found out by examining paperwork after Schafer's death in 1991. Sherwood Schwartz himself never suspected the truth. Schafer's energy made everyone think she was much younger. She also carried herself with a high society grace that fit Mrs. Howell perfectly. On set, she handled comedic scenes or snobbish dialogue like a seasoned pro. This age mystery remained hidden until decades later, proving how well she blended refinement with sly humor. Up next, we know how the theme song almost left out key cast members. The original theme excluded 2 castmates. The catchy theme of Gilligan's Island originally left out Russell Johnson, the professor, and Dawn Wells, Mary Ann. They were called "And the Rest" in the opening sequence, which many felt was unfair. Bob Denver, already known for comedic roles, took a stand, threatening to remove his own name unless the song included all 7 castaways. The network, not wanting to lose its lead star, conceded and paid to re-record the theme. Johnson and Wells were soon named in the lyrics, giving them the recognition they deserved. Denver's bold move was unusual for an actor at the time, since contract negotiations rarely favored performers in such a direct way. Fans sometimes forget that small line in the tune used to be missing. But thanks to Denver, the final version immortalized Mary Ann and the professor, reminding audiences that everyone was stranded on that tiny island. Hold tight, the biggest secret is still waiting at the end. Don't click away yet. Tina Louise's casting misdirection. Tina Louise was lured to Gilligan's Island with the promise that her character, Ginger Grant, would be front and center. Producers pitched Ginger as a glamorous starlet who'd drive most of the storylines. But after filming started, it became clear the show was an ensemble where each castaway got comedic focus. Louise felt misled. She expected to shine solo and grew frustrated when Ginger wasn't the main draw. Over the years, she rarely attended reunions and even hinted the role limited her film career. Other cast members said she was professional but distant on the set. Despite the tension, Louise delivered a memorable performance as the confident, alluring Ginger. Fans still debate how the show might have changed if Ginger had bigger story arcs. Yet, the dynamic, as it was, turned them into a beloved comedic team. The Murky Lagoon. Although it appeared to be a pristine tropical paradise, the lagoon at the CBS lot was actually a built pool with painted backdrops. Chlorine would have damaged costumes and the set, so they left the water untreated. Algae formed quickly, turning the pool murky and foul-smelling. Crew members spent hours skimming debris for each shoot, trying to make it look camera-ready. Another headache. The lot sat near a bustling freeway. Traffic noise filtered onto the set, forcing production to wait for quieter moments. Dawn Wells once joked that waiting for rush hour to pass took almost as long as filming. Sherwood Schwartz had staff add palm trees and dense foliage, hoping to maintain a convincing island look. Cast members, including Bob Denver, often found the water unpleasant, especially under the hot studio lights. Yet on camera, it glistened enough to trick viewers into believing they were stranded miles from civilization. Keep watching. There are more behind-the-scenes secrets, showing how close this sitcom came to disappearing forever. Dawn Wells' unique residual deal. While most cast members earned only standard wages, Dawn Wells negotiated a special contract clause granting partial residuals if the show reran extensively. At the time, producers assumed Gilligan's Island would fade quickly and agreed without much pushback. To their surprise, it became a syndication mainstay, airing worldwide for decades. Bob Denver joked that Mary Ann ended up making more from reruns than any other castaway. Wells never flaunted her good fortune, but it gave her a comfortable buffer that her co-stars lacked. Some fans assume the entire cast got wealthy from endless repeats, not realizing only a few had clauses beyond initial pay. Wells later mentioned that it was her agent's idea, not hers. Whatever the reason, her forward-thinking deal proved that even simple comedies can turn into gold when networks replay episodes year after year. Ginger vs. Marilyn rumors. Some viewers saw Ginger Grant as a knockoff of Marilyn Monroe. but the show's notes reveal she was inspired by multiple leading ladies, including Rita Hayworth. Early rumor claimed Jane Mansfield had been sought, though Mansfield ultimately declined. Tina Louise stepped in, bringing her own Hollywood background. Because Ginger wore slinky dresses and had a sultry manner, fans started the Monroe comparisons. The producers never confirmed that link, stating they combined traits of various movie starlets into one comedic persona. After all, the series thrived on broad stereotypes: the farm girl, the millionaire couple, the professor, and the movie star. These rumors still surface in fan discussions, but cast members insisted there was no direct Monroe homage. Ginger's style might look similar, yet it was more about archetypal glamour than any single real-life icon. Let's find an unexpected family connection hidden in Bob Denver's past. Bob Denver's City Connection. Bob Denver had an unusual family tree. His ancestor was James W. Denver, a 19th century politician. Denver, Colorado took its name from that relative. This fact never appeared in the show, since producers saw no need to discuss an actor's heritage. Gilligan's only job was to bumble around, so Bob Denver's real-life background didn't seem relevant. Offset, Denver occasionally joked about being the reason for Denver, Colorado, but kept it private. Fans had no idea their beloved first mate had historic roots. Some discovered it through genealogical records years later. By then, Gilligan's Island was long off the air, so it never became a storyline or cameo opportunity. The city's official archives mentions James Denver, but not his comedic descendant, so this connection remains a fun trivia note, overshadowed by Bob's comedic genius as the show's lovable, accident-prone lead character. Keep watching, our final cover-up is coming, and it's a true shocker. Roseanne crossover surprise. A wacky mini-reunion took place on Roseanne in 1995. That sitcom, filmed on the same soundstage used decades earlier for Gilligan's Island. Titled Sherwood Schwartz, A Loving Tribute, the episode included Bob Denver as a goofy Jackie, Tina Louise as Roseanne, Dawn Wells as Darlene, and Russell Johnson as Becky's husband. For a brief moment, fans relived the castaway antics. Tina Louise, who generally avoided Gilligan's Island promotions, stunned viewers by joining the cameo. Many were thrilled to see them together, even if it was a tongue-in-cheek tribute. The event honored Sherwood Schwartz's comedic legacy, bridging old-school island hijinks and Roseanne's modern family chaos. From cartoons to the cosmos. During the 1970s and 80s, TV producers often gave live-action sitcoms a cartoon spin. Gilligan's Island followed suit with two animated versions. The New Adventures of Gilligan, 1974, brought back the stranded gang in typical island escapades, while Gilligan's Planet, 1982, catapulted them into outer space. Alan Hale Jr., Bob Denver, Russell Johnson, Jim Backus, and Dawn Wells returned to voice their parts, but Tina Louise opted out. Critics found the cosmic premise bizarre. The show tried to blend space exploration with the goofy humor of castaways. Early episodes even featured an odd laugh track, a leftover practice from older cartoons. Ratings were modest, partially because fans weren't sure what to make of Gilligan in space. Gilligan's Planet wrapped after only 13 episodes. Although short-lived, these cartoons demonstrated the show's staying power. Even decades later, producers were willing to experiment with castaways in unusual settings to attract viewers. Real-life Coast Guard snag. Gilligan's Island faced real authority trouble when the Coast Guard received reports of boaters mixing up the show's distress call with real maydays. People heard SOS from the SS Minnow and worried it was genuine. Officials asked for disclaimers or script edits to avoid false alarms. Meanwhile, filming the pilot in Hawaii demanded multiple permits. Local authorities feared the production would block beaches or disrupt tourism. Sherwood Schwartz worked out special deals, promising minimal impact. Once the pilot wrapped, the show moved to a California set, dodging further island-related conflicts. It's surprising that a silly sitcom caused actual Coast Guard inquiries. But when pretended castaways yelled for help, some watchers took it seriously. This behind-the-scenes obstacle proved how a fictional scenario could create real-life headaches for maritime officials. Jim Backus's Hidden Challenge. Jim Backus became everyone's favorite millionaire, Thurston Howell III. Secretly, though, he struggled with mild hearing loss. He also clashed at times with producers, wanting sharper lines for Thurston to highlight the character's snobbish charm. In scenes that lacked jokes about wealth, he pushed for rewrites, believing the Howell couple thrived on comedic references to money. His hearing issues stayed private. Co-stars recalled him missing cues or responding late, sometimes brushing it off with a playful grin. This approach ended up suiting Thurston's scatterbrained persona. Backus worried that if the studio discovered his hearing problems, they might reduce his role or question his performance reliability. He managed to keep it under wraps, delivering a consistently funny portrayal. Because of this careful balancing act, fans never noticed. Thurston Howell's aloofness was perfect for comedic effect, even if part of it stemmed from a real unspoken difficulty. Mrs. Howell's warm water perk. As the eldest cast member, Natalie Schafer didn't enjoy cold water scenes. The show's lagoon was unheated and often chilly. Worried about joint stiffness, she requested a special system that pumped warm water into one corner of the set. This arrangement remained a quiet secret. Producers feared losing Schafer if she became too uncomfortable. They installed the hidden mechanism near areas where Mrs. Howell frequently performed. Fellow actors would sometimes crowd into the warm zone between takes to avoid the frigid water. While not a dramatic scandal, it highlighted the lengths they went to keep their elegant co-star content. Few fans realized that those breezy lagoon scenes disguised a behind-the-scenes fix. In a comedic show full of illusions, heated water was just another trick to maintain everyone's on-camera smiles. Up next, we move to a big missed chance for a final farewell that never happened. The Abandoned Reunion Movie. Even though Gilligan's Island ended abruptly, the cast reunited in 3 TV movies: Rescue from Gilligan's Island, 1978, The Castaways on Gilligan's Island, 1979, and The Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island, 1981. A final special was proposed, supposedly bigger and concluding the saga properly. But obstacles piled up. Tina Louise refused to participate, still frustrated about the Ginger role overshadowing her potential in film. Jim Backus was in declining health. Attempts to secure cameo deals with everyone fell apart. Rumors spread of a working title, Return to the Minnow, but no formal production emerged. Sherwood Schwartz hinted for years that he wanted one last goodbye. Instead, fans were left with half-finished scripts and no official wrap-up. Some believe the show's legacy was better left unresolved, preserving that classic image of the castaways stuck, hoping their next scheme might finally bring rescue. Finally, now it's time for the strangest rumor that ties it all together. Bob Denver's demands rumor. One odd story claims Bob Denver made big demands, like needing extra slapstick or guaranteed pratfalls, or he'd quit. Castmates said that was nonsense. Denver was easygoing, rarely complaining unless it helped fellow actors. He famously fought to have Mary Ann and the professor named in the theme, showing team spirit. Gossip apparently started from a disgruntled crew member who misunderstood Denver's creative suggestions for Gilligan moments. Over time, rumors spread that he was a diva wielding contract power. In truth, co-stars were called a friendly persona who drove others home if they needed a ride. Hardly a showbiz tyrant. Years later, Bob's wife and friends clarified he wanted the comedy to shine, but never forced special treatment for himself. The rumor stands as another wacky myth that overshadowed the genuine comedic synergy that made the show iconic. From hidden ages to abrupt cancellations and hush-hush deals, Gilligan's Island was more than palm trees and laughter. These 17 facts prove even a breezy sitcom holds surprises under the sunshine. Thanks for exploring this classic with us. May its offbeat stories keep delighting true fans.